Michigan here with us today. Both have been great supporters of our auto show and our community of auto dealers, and we are extremely grateful for that. The state has partnered with this show for many years through the Michigan Economic Development Corporation and the Office of Future Mobility and Electrification. In fact, today and tomorrow, the state is presenting an exciting new program here. It's called the Future Leaders Forum. It's focused on cultivating the industry's next generation of talent by connecting university and high school students with industry experts and technology. You'll see many of these future leaders on the show floor here today. And now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Lieutenant Governor of this incredible state, the state that happens to be the home of the, hopefully, Super Bowl-bound Detroit Lions, the Honorable Garland Gilchrist. Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you, Carl, and good morning, everyone. It's great to be back here at the Auto Show. We are here to talk about the future of mobility, to talk about opportunities for everyone to be a part of that future. And it is amazing to have the Auto Show back in its home month, which is January, because it is the best possible way to start out a year thinking about what's possible, a year thinking about innovation, a year thinking about the creativity that is embodied in the engineering excellence, in the concept vehicles, and the visions of tomorrow that are on display throughout this auto show floor. I thank each and every one of you for participating in this show again and re-establishing this anchor of our economy, of our winter experience, but more importantly, setting us up for success this year. Everybody in Michigan either works in the auto industry, loves someone who works in the auto industry, or has someone who loves them who works in the auto industry. I'm no different. My mother is a General Motors lifer and a retiree in 2008. Our history of connection to this industry is a history that's about making people's lives better by connecting them, their goods, their ideas, their services, and their opportunities. So I want to thank all of the innovators who are here. I want to thank all of the educators who are here. I want to thank all of my fellow engineers who are here making this show possible. We have so much work to do, and we will do this work together. And I'm so proud that we can do it alongside leadership coming from the public sector, from the state level, from people like my partner in public service. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the governor of the great state of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. I am excited to be here in the Motor City as we kick off another year where Michigan will be at the center of the action. This is my 7th year as governor, but I am still guided by the values I first ran on in 2018. The same values I was taught growing up in a bipartisan household. In the Whitmer house, compromise was a good thing. You see, I just want to get things done. Things that make a real difference in Michiganders' lives so we can make people's lives better. And I'll work with anyone who is serious about solving problems. And I'll stand up to anyone who gets in our way. Heading into 2025, I'm really looking forward to working with Speaker Hall, Majority Leader Brinks, Leader Nesbitt, Leader Puri, and President-elect Trump. Michiganders elected both me and Donald Trump twice, just 2 years apart. Every one of us swore an oath to the people we serve. And the people expect us to find common ground, especially when it comes to lowering costs, creating good-paying manufacturing jobs, boosting research and innovation, and cutting red tape. Now, I don't want to pretend we're always going to agree, but I will always seek collaboration first. I won't go looking for fights. I won't back down from them either, because I'm not here to play games. I've got a job to do. And that brings me to why I'm speaking with all of you here at the Auto Show. Usually I wait until my State of the State address to lay out an economic vision, but this could not wait. This is a serious moment. Right now, the future of the entire auto industry is at stake. The very core of Michigan's economy is on the line. So today, let's talk about the road ahead. As you all know, there's ongoing global competition to build the future of the auto industry. And make no mistake, other states and nations like China are gunning for Michigan auto jobs. For America to win, we must all recognize that all of us are on the same team. Both our state and national economy depend on our ability to work together in Lansing and with our partners in DC. Today, almost 1.2 million jobs, 1/5 of Michigan workers, are employed directly or indirectly by the auto industry. Think about this. These individual jobs pay almost 72 grand. That's higher than the median household income. Since I took office, automakers and suppliers have invested a combined $40 billion, that's billion with a B, into Michigan. Today, we're home to nearly 1/5 of all North American auto production. We also have the highest concentration of engineering talent, more than 1,000 independent auto suppliers and 62% of all American R&D spending in the auto sector. Everyone knows someone whose family and future relies on Michigan making cars and trucks. And that includes every one of us in this room. We all know just how much our economy relies on the auto industry. And that's why I'll fight alongside any company that invests in Michigan and creates jobs in Michigan. Together, we can support Michigan workers, from UAW men and women on the assembly line to countless others in R&D, engineering, design, sales, and more. In short, if the autos succeed, Michigan succeeds and America succeeds. Now, I want to take us back to December of 2021, when I brought Republicans, Democrats, and industry leaders together to establish our bipartisan job fund. It worked. We won billions of dollars worth of transformational projects. And since then, we've been building on this momentum, passing brownfield legislation, making it easier to convert abandoned buildings into new, cutting-edge factories powered by the latest technology, modernizing Renaissance zones to lower costs for companies who invest in areas of our state that had been ignored, winning hundreds of millions of federal dollars to help manufacturers retool their factories and make sure today's auto workers can be a part of tomorrow's economy, including a new program for small suppliers that we'll be launching later this year. And on Monday, I stood with business leaders and signed bipartisan legislation to establish an innovation fund and an R&D tax credit. These new tools will launch hundreds of Michigan-based startups, create thousands of good-paying Michigan jobs, and increase collaboration with Michigan's world-class universities. Now, over the past 6 years, we have moved forward, but if we don't keep going, we will fall behind. Michigan is still the #1 auto state, but others have gained ground, especially in the South. They want to steal this vital industry away from us. But we're Michiganders, damn it, and we're going to fight, right? These other states like Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Kentucky know that once they secure a big auto, battery, or transmission plant, it not only creates thousands of good-paying plant jobs, but it also encourages other businesses up and down the supply chain to move too. Because proximity saves companies time and money, and it's part of the reason Michigan remains dominant so far. But make no mistake, these big factories have gravity. Eventually, if enough of them are built elsewhere, industry will be pulled out of Michigan's orbit. These other states are using every tool at their disposal. Some of them are just writing blank checks to companies. Well, that's bad policy. We can do this in a more thoughtful, more strategic way that's accountable to taxpayers. The truth is, today, we lack speed and flexibility to win, though. And the tools we do have are going away. It's also no longer enough to just have part makers and assembly plants. To compete in the 21st century today, we need battery factories, software companies, chip fabs, and startups too. What defines the auto industry is changing in front of us. It's evolving into the auto ecosystem. Now consider all the moving parts, the lines of code, the rare earth materials that go into every vehicle. Owning this ecosystem top to bottom is critical. And to build an auto ecosystem, we cannot get complacent. We must update our economic toolkit to match our changing reality. Two big obstacles stand in our way. One, our bipartisan job fund goes away in a year. And two, my road bonding plan, Rebuilding Michigan, is phasing out. Losing both without better, more comprehensive replacements will throw us off track. It'll harm both our state and our national economy. We see the bad version of this story playing out in Europe right now, where Chinese electric cars and batteries are gobbling up market share. European automakers are worried that they're falling behind. More than 12 million European direct and indirect auto industry jobs are at risk. If we don't act, that could be our future too. One where we allow companies who are subsidized by the Chinese government to sell at a loss and crush the core of our economy. That's not going to happen, not on our watch. Instead, let's seize this moment. Let's bring both parties together in our legislature and let's support the auto ecosystem we need to continue to dominate. So first, we must replace our job fund with new and better tools. We must stay nimble to support businesses that are already here and win new ones too. I know securing these big factories hasn't always been easy, but we gotta keep working at it. We can't just unilaterally disarm, like some on the far left and far right would have us do. Here's what we can do now. One, a new Make It in Michigan Auto Job Fund to help us close deals and move faster as we compete with other states and nations and land big factories and engineering and tech centers. 10 other states are already doing this. This is critical to design, engineer, and build the next generation of vehicles. We don't care what you drive, ICE, hybrid, or EV. We just care that it's made right here in Michigan by Michigan workers. Two, a new payroll tax cut called Hire Michigan. So the more Michigan employees you hire and the better you pay them, the more you can save here in Michigan. My predecessor, Governor Snyder, had this idea first, and Senator Sam Singh, a Democrat, is carrying it forward today. It's not politics, it's common sense. We need companies investing here in Michigan to put down roots, to create high-paying jobs and hire our workers. Three, a more streamlined strategic site readiness program to create space for future projects. We know that companies value having shovel-ready sites where they can just come in and start building on day one. Let's make it as easy as possible to create jobs in Michigan. Four, more investments in housing, placemaking, and brownfield redevelopment. Let's boost our housing supply to drive down costs for buyers and renters while improving our neighborhoods and downtowns. And finally, 5, more investments in transit, including buses and rail, to boost connectivity across areas with lots of industry. That brings us to our second obstacle, roads. Auto companies depend on reliable infrastructure to ship goods between raw materials, suppliers, and factories. The auto ecosystem we want to build is only as strong as the connections between all its parts. We need roads that are safe to help us attract people to our state too. They can't be a punchline. As anyone who drives in Michigan will tell you, we have come a long way. And you're welcome for all those orange barrels, by the way. But the truth is, our roads still need work. I'm proud of the work that we've done on key highways and bridges with my Rebuilding Michigan bond plan, but we are facing a major funding cliff. We need a sustainable, long-term solution so we can fix the damn roads using the right mix and materials. If we don't find a solution, our roads will get worse and more dangerous. And that means expensive car repairs and delays on your drive home. Speaker Hall has said roads are a priority. And last fall, we got started working on a long-term solution, but we didn't quite get there. He said his caucus wants to keep working on this, and so do I. So to all my partners in the legislature, let's get back to the negotiating table and hammer out a bipartisan deal to get this done in 2025. You know, it's not easy, but fixing the roads means we all need to recognize some hard truths. To my friends in the GOP, fixing the roads in a sustainable way means looking for new, fair sources of revenue. We can't just cut our way to better roads. Defunding public safety or public health is not the way to fix potholes. And to my friends, my fellow Democrats, fiscally responsible cuts will need to be a part of the solution too. Michigan families and businesses have already tightened their belts because of high costs. We should do the same and focus our resources on the stuff that matters most: roads, school, safety. Let us lead by example. Both parties will have to compromise to do this right, and that's the way it ought to be. I'm still open to suggestions on both roads and jobs, and I don't care where or who they come from, so long as they're serious. What the people of Michigan will not accept is inaction. So the only bad idea is no idea. Moving on. Another key player in our auto ecosystem is right across the water, Ontario. We share culture, crops, craft brews, and some would say accents. Michigan is the Motor City, and Windsor is the automotive capital of Canada. Detroit-Windsor is the busiest active border crossing in North America, driving more than a quarter of the $700 billion of annual trade between our countries. We are still two different countries, right? All right, thank you, Quentin. We've seen what happens when our connection is put at risk. We saw the blockade of the Ambassador Bridge in 2022 and how hard it hit our auto and ag businesses. Hundreds of millions of dollars move across that border every day. And while we may not agree with our Canadian neighbors about everything, I'm proud of the relationship that we've built through agreements on cross-border electric vehicle testing, supply chains, trade, and job creation. Over the last few years, Canadian businesses have announced 26 projects in Michigan, creating over 4,000 jobs. Our relationship is strong and continues to get stronger. I met with Ontario Premier Doug Ford, a member of the Conservative Party, last month. The Gordie Howe Bridge, named after Mr. Hockey, opens later this year, and it's a symbol of our friendship and a driver of economic growth for decades to come. There's been a lot of talk about tariffs recently. I want to be clear, I am not opposed to tariffs outright, but we cannot treat them like a one-size-fits-all solution. And we certainly shouldn't use them to punish our closest trading partners. Doing so hurts all of us, damaging supply chains, slowing production lines, and cutting jobs on both sides of the border. Think about this. 70% of all the auto parts we make in Michigan go directly to our neighbors. Every time a Michigan auto part crosses over the border and gets taxed, those costs will be passed on to you and to consumers at the dealership. Sometimes those parts cross a couple of times throughout production. That means you'll pay more to buy a Silverado, or fix the engine of your Mustang, or replace the fender on your Jeep Grand Cherokee. The only winner in that equation is China. They would love nothing more than for us to watch us cripple Americans, our auto ecosystem, all by ourselves. This is a matter of national security. We cannot let that happen. And that's why my office has been in active discussion with Premier Ford's team and leadership from the Liberal Party to explore ways we can collaborate on tariffs, lower the cost of doing business, and protect Michigan's industry and consumers. Let's renew our commitment to a stronger relationship with our neighbors. And let's build a stronger auto ecosystem. And let's take on China together. Today, I've spoken about the road ahead, and I'm optimistic about our future because I know the journey that we've been on to get here. Over the past 6 years, I've signed more than 1,400 bipartisan bills and 6 balanced budgets. And to those who are keeping score at home, nearly 1,000 of those were under a Republican-controlled legislature. Since I took office, we've cut taxes by $1 billion for seniors and working families, secured nearly 40,000 auto jobs, built 50,000 units of housing, fed students free breakfast and lunch at school, replaced tens of thousands of lead pipes, and fixed nearly every major freeway. Our rainy day fund at an all-time high. State revenues are strong, GDP is up 35%, our credit rating is up, educational attainment, family wealth, and incomes are all up too. Our strong fiscal management is paying off. And just look at where we are. Michigan is a state on the rise that's turning doubters into dreamers. And our Lions are winning big too. Going from a punching bag to a powerhouse. We are at the center of America's most exciting story. But there's always more to do. If we bring jobs home, fix the damn roads, and work with our trading partners, we can drive toward a brighter future where our people and our auto industry succeed. As Coach Campbell would say, we are built for this, man. Michigan is the auto industry, and the auto industry is Michigan. Our fates are linked. So let's pave the road ahead together. Thank you, and enjoy the auto show.
I never met a girl who makes me feel the way that you do. You're all right. Whenever I'm asked who makes my dreams real,